Welcome to the Sound of Movement podcast. Today we're talking about exercise programming. We're going to be wrapping up a week of chats on this topic, and we're going to be talking about our MasterClasses, the amazing programs that we have to teach specific skills or flexibility feats that people are looking to achieve. What's up, everyone? It's time to rock. If you're new to the tribe, Rich is behind the mix. Phil's across the table from me. My name's Rad Burmeister. We are Unity Gym, experts at turning driven people into athletes. Now, this episode is brought to you by the Unified Movement System, the only online program effectively balancing strength, flexibility, and fitness so you can unleash your inner athlete. You can get daily coaching by us, plus our Epic Foundations prep program and revolutionary structural balance blueprint to create your ideal program and optimize your performance. As a valued listener, use the link in the description to get your first month free. Now, today is the last 24 hours that you can get our unbelievable masterclasses at a huge discounted price. You're going to want to go to the UMS Movement Mastermind on Facebook and click the link so that you can grab one of those programs. Before we get started, warm welcome if you're on the live stream in the UMS Movement Mastermind. Leave a comment and we'll send you some love. And remember, anyone can join and interact. And lastly, shout out to our YouTube athletes catching the replay. Hit the like button and support the channel, and subscribe if you like what you see. So as I said before, joining us today is Phil White from ADPT Physio. How are you, man?
Good. I really like weeks of being on the podcast. It's always
it's good fun.
Highlight of the day. So
I like it too because it means I'm not talking to the camera by myself.
It's because I do the alternate weeks between the South Coast and here. So it's good to be on all this week, hanging out with you.
Yeah, awesome. So look, today is a bit of a shameless plug. We're going to be talking about our masterclasses and how amazing they are, because we've been doing this whole week of talking about program design, something that a lot of people get confused about. And we decided midweek that we were going to put our masterclasses on sale. So if you're listening now and you haven't grabbed one, click the link in the UMS Movement Mastermind group and get one of our amazing masterclasses for a huge discount. You can get the pull-up masterclass, the flexibility masterclass, gymnastics rings masterclass, handstand masterclass, press to handstand masterclass, or the spine mobility masterclass. And today, I really want to just talk about what they are, because a lot of people don't really get what they're going to get inside, and also for those of you that have them, how to use them. And basically what these masterclasses are, they're programs that we've designed to achieve a specific goal or a specific feat of strength or flexibility that we've seen a lot of people in our tribe ask for. We've seen, like, for example, the one that I'll start with is the pull-up masterclass. It's by far, it's the one calisthenics movement that most people that are right at the start of their journey want to be able to do. It is, if you can't do a pull-up, it seems just absolutely impossible. Like if you hang on a pull-up bar or a set of gymnastics rings and you try and pull yourself up and you don't have the strength to do it, you just seem like, how would I ever be able to do this? And there's a process that if you follow, you will be able to unlock it. I'm going to presume that you don't have more than, let's say, 5 to 10 pounds of body fat on you that you need to lose. If you do, then there's a whole nother, process that you'd want to go through before attempting a pull-up to lose some body fat. Because if I strapped 10 pounds to me, even though I can do pull-ups, I would dramatically limit the amount that I could do. So let's presume that you're at, a healthy body weight where you don't have a lot of weight that you need to lose. And if you follow the process, you can achieve a pull-up in as little as probably, I'd say, 8 weeks. And maybe if you're really deconditioned, it might take you 12 to 26 weeks, depending on, how far you've got to go. But if you follow the process, then you can do it. You can achieve what seems inachievable, And it all comes from good programming principles. When you've been in the game for as long as we have, there's a process that we've created that works really, really well for people.
Yeah, and if you haven't listened to Monday and Tuesday, I think it'd be definitely worthwhile going back specifically about those programming principles to get a bit of the secret sauce behind the strength and flexibility programming. Mm-hmm. So, but now we're talking about how this is all implemented into.
Yep. And the way the pull-up masterclass works really well is that we've basically designed it to have 2 phases that you basically repeat them until you can do a pull-up. And why do we do that? It's got an accumulation phase and intensification phase. So there's a phase of accumulation, which the idea means that you accumulate fatigue with the intention to hypertrophy your muscles and also to be learning the movement pattern and conditioning the weak links like scapular depression and biceps, forearms, grip, all of that. But doing the accumulation phase, the goal is to hopefully build a little bit of lean muscle, and then the intensification phase is to build raw strength. They're both from a programming perspective, done quite differently. And if you repeat one after the other over 4-week periods, again, it might take somebody only 8 weeks to get there. It might take somebody else 16 weeks. It might take somebody else 24 weeks. Just depends on where you're at, on how much you apply yourself, all these other factors, how well you rest and recover. But by repeating those phases, accumulation, intensification, you will get the pull-up. Guaranteed. It's a really good process to get you there. And this whole thing about smart programming is what's behind these masterclasses.
Yeah, exactly. And it's done in a way with body weight. It can be so tricky to. We're talking about here about accumulation and that's i.e. volume. It can be really hard with body weight stuff. It's like, okay, if I can't do one rep of the thing, how am I meant to get sufficient volume? So there's been a lot of thought and in like trial and error and in scientific backing behind the different programming principles that find ways of really building up volume in movements that are otherwise hard to accumulate volume in.
Science-based.
Science. But I'm kind of the main one I'm thinking there, and it's what I see so many people doing wrong, and it's what I've done wrong in the past, and I think it's what we've done wrong in the gym before about like using bands as your main sort of assistance for achieving volume in the pull-up, and we've moved away from doing that because when we think about the actual where the band is helping and what the hardest parts of the pull-up are to get, they really didn't achieve the goals that I wanted. So that's where the science comes into it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it is designed. The pull-up masterclass is designed for people who cannot do any pull-ups at all, or who maybe can do basically less than 3 pull-ups. If you can't do 3 quality, I'm talking quality pull-ups here, by the way, pull-ups where you get your chest to the bar, and you can't do sets of that, then this is for you. The next one that we'll talk about, which is by far one of our most popular programs, is the Mobility Masterclass. And you can actually only get this right now during this flash sale. This is something that we've delisted from our Thinkific site. It contains so much content in there. There's multiple programs, multiple phases of programs for things like, the middle splits, the pancake, the pike, the back bridge. Basically gymnastics standard movements that you really need in order to, increase your flexibility and be able to do things like press to handstands and stuff like that.
Why did you delist it?
We delisted it, in all honesty, because there's too much content in there. And it overwhelms people. And what we found is that people actually respond better to being drip-fed content, like when they get phase 1 and they work with that, and then they decide that they're going to get phase 2 later, when they've achieved a certain goal. And when we released the Mobility Masterclass, I'm somebody that likes to just, I just want to give as much as I can to people. So I created the Mobility Masterclass, and then I added to it, and then I added to it and added to it. And then we got people, so that worked really well for people that purchased it years ago. And then as I added to it, they went, oh, great, this is awesome, I've got the next thing. But what we found is that when people were coming into that later after all this content was added to it, a lot of people got overwhelmed with it. So this is your opportunity, because now we sell the Flexibility Masterclass in phases, phase 1, 2, and 3. This is one of the only opportunities you're going to get that original Mobility Masterclass with all the 4 phases, with phases of end range strength, and also the Mobility Masterclass itself. There's so much content in there. It's an amazing program. And if you have a look on the UMS Movement Mastermind, if you scroll down a bit, you can see Blakely Harnage. He posted his before and after of the back bridge attempts by using the Mobility Masterclass. It's phenomenal. And it teaches end range strength as well. So it teaches you not just flexibility, but strength through the full range.
Yeah, definitely. And we have talked all this week about the idea of not trying to achieve too many different goals at once, but rather doing, instead of really spreading yourself thin, really trying to knock something off,
Mm-hmm.
get it done, move on to the next thing while maintaining what you've built up. And so that's definitely good reasoning behind
Absolutely.
taking down. Too much information is not always
not always the best. Yeah. So the next one we've got on the list is the Gymnastics Rings Masterclass. This was formerly known as the Muscle Up Masterclass because the end goal of the Gymnastics Rings Masterclass is the muscle up. But we decided to change the name because the Muscle Up Masterclass implies that it's only about the muscle up, and it's not. There's two phases. There's two separate series of programs. There's the Foundations Gymnastics Rings, and then there's the Progressions Gymnastics Rings. And the Foundations part of it is 3 phases for people that can't yet do a pull-up, but we use the gymnastics rings to teach people how to do pull-ups. And there's some different stuff in there than what's in the pull-up masterclass. It doesn't just focus on the pull-up, it also focuses on the dip as well, and conditioning the forearms and the core and everything like that. And then the progressions phase, or the advanced phase of the Gymnastics Rings Masterclass, is for people that can already do pull-ups, and it teaches you how to do a muscle-up. So it's an amazing program if you really want to get your head around how to use the gymnastics rings and how to get a muscle-up. And then we've got the Handstand Masterclass. There's you don't need to take too many guesses to guess what that one's about. It's about teaching flexibility. Of course, no. It's about learning the handstand. It's about teaching people how to do a proper straight line freestanding handstand, meaning it doesn't just show, hey, this is how you do a handstand. It shows you all the drills that you do where you use the wall for balance, where you strengthen your wrists and shoulders, your core, and teaching you all the coaching cues and all the progressions to get you to being able to do a really solid, consistent straight line handstand. Very, very effective, very fun. Skill-based movement.
And, obviously with these calisthenics movements, often it is less gym equipment. And so between like the handstands and the pull-ups, they're pretty good options if you're not able to get to your gym, if gyms are locked down or...
they're awesome. That is a really good point. With the Muscle Up Masterclass, the Gymnastics Rings Masterclass...
So I think you made that one, like you changed it during COVID, hey, when it was like...
we did.
Yeah,
we did. That's right. Because you basically just need a set of gymnastics rings and you can do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the handstand, masterclass, you need a wall. That's it, a wall and a piece of floor to be able to do it. They're really, really good for that. Then we've got the Press to Handstand Masterclass, and this is a more advanced calisthenics movement where you put your hands on the ground and you really gently lift your legs off the ground into a handstand. It's very, very impressive. It definitely requires a basic level of understanding of a handstand. You have to be able to do a handstand at least to a moderate level, but it's a really good thing to do to get if you've already got a handstand and you want to go that step further, or if you know that after you learn how to do a handstand you're going to want to learn how to do this, then it's a really, really good thing to do it.
Starting building compression strength is
not for the faint-hearted. The press to
not
handstand
easy. So
it's definitely not a beginner program, that one. That's for people that are at least at an intermediate level, that either have at least a basic level of flexibility or an intermediate level of flexibility and a basic level of a handstand. And then the last one we've got on offer is the Spine Mobility Masterclass. Now, this one really is for everyone. It really is, because spine mobility, in my opinion, is one of the most neglected areas of training in the whole fitness community. Like, if I look at the fitness space after being a personal trainer for 17 years, when I look at what the most popular forms of group training, of programming, of strength and conditioning are doing, spine mobility is really neglected. Like, I've gone to a lot of beginner, intermediate, and advanced program writing courses with some of the best people in the industry. I've looked at group training formats where I've, gone and checked in and, how to go of CrossFit or F45 or whatever it is. And it's just completely neglected. And if you're somebody that's got some experience in exercise, have a think about, when has anybody ever shown you how to do lateral spinal flexion and spinal waves? Or is that the frontal plane? That's the sagittal plane, isn't it, where you do that? Like sagittal or frontal plane spinal waves or anything like that. You just don't get taught it. You get taught how to brace the spine and how to bend from the hips. Or, a lot of people teach, it's quite a debated topic of, rotation under load, things like that. But Coach Summers, who had a apparently had a phone call debate with Stuart McGill, who's a real stickler for neutral spine. So it's not a recorded debate. This is a recount of Coach Summers, but apparently they had a discussion on the phone, and Christopher Summers' argument was, there's no sporting activity in the world, there's nothing that you do where the spine stays neutral during the sporting activity. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, that is a really interesting take on it. So the idea that when you do your training to prepare yourself for your sporting activity, that you only ever keep your spine neutral is flawed. You do need to practice moving the spine so that then when you go out and deploy that in whatever it is you decide to do, that your spine has had some exposure to that. And that's the whole idea behind the Spine Mobility Masterclass.
Yeah, my quick 2 cents on it is basically like there's reasons to do both. Like it's so important to build up the ability to maintain a neutral spine, or at least sort of tend towards a neutral spine, because even if you're like within those sports under heavy load or as you're moving quickly, like you're still going to have the muscles pulling you towards neutral, but you may not be able to hold neutral. So it's important to have that neutral spine strength. And but yeah, we often do kind of go so far into specialization of one particular movement and one particular contraction type, and adding movement variability, as we've talked about many times, is one of the main things when it comes to injuries. Injuries happen when your body is exposed to something it's not quite prepared for. So with the Spinal Mobility Masterclass, you're basically adding in some really good movement variability. So when you do some kind of, unexpected movement, like picking something off the floor at a weird angle or reaching under the couch or something like that, all these, I've hurt my back just like back when I was doing lots of just powerlifting, when I was just getting eggs out of the fridge. And it's like, those little things, when you just haven't been doing very much, like you've been heavily loading but you haven't been adding variability is key. So,
that is a really good point. It's important to get exposure to both, but without something like the Spine Mobility class, at least from what I've seen that's out there, you just don't know where to start. And it is actually, for a lot of people, it's very, very hard to learn to segment movement in the spine, like through all of your 32 joints. It's quite hard to understand that you can actually create. Now, each of them will all only move a very small amount each, but when you put it together, it makes these beautiful movements. And a lot of people are very locked up in an area, and they'll do almost all their movement from one section of the spine, not one vertebra, but one sort of little area of vertebra. So yeah, it's a really, really good one to have.
And just on like injury prevention side of things, like if you're very stiff through a section, and then that means that then to achieve a certain amount of movement, you're doing it from fewer sections instead of spreading out the load amongst all of the joints, then that one joint is going to have to take more force. So if you like, the body's really good at being efficient and spreading load throughout joints, but if we've done activities like sitting down for 10 years at a desk, then you can really stiffen up, and that just means that energy transfer throughout the system is less than ideal, and that's where some back pain can often start.
Yep. So guys, jump on, grab one of the masterclasses. As always, we've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, let us know. We'll give you your money back. And this is your opportunity to really, double down on a skill or movement or area of your movement practice that you've wanted to nail for a while, and they really work.
Do we want to just briefly talk about how they fit in with doing your regular training?
Yeah, for sure. So the pull-up masterclass itself, we paired the pull-up with the shoulder press so that we were giving agonist-antagonist and creating symmetry through the joint. So that in itself would replace upper body strength training days until you nail the pull-up. Same with the gymnastics rings masterclass. You choose either one or the other on your bent arm strength days in the UMS, or if you don't have the UMS yet, you would do that on your upper body strength training days, and you'd want to have I'd recommend 3 days break between each of those workouts. So you either train Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday, or Wednesday, Saturday. For the flexibility masterclass, that's like a 5-day-a-week program, but you only do certain movements on each day of the week. So it says it in the program. It'll tell you which days of the week it's recommended. So we don't do flexibility training on the same movement every single day. And you'll learn more about that in the program. For the gymnastics rings masterclass, I spoke about that. For the handstand masterclass, because it's a skill, you actually develop skills better by doing them daily. But for a beginner, there is a certain level of conditioning that's required for the handstand. So even though the handstand itself is a skill, not a strength movement, when you're a beginner, there's going to be a strength adaptation that's required to learn the handstand. So to start with, we recommend no more than 3 days a week. So you're basically just having a day of rest between each day. And that just really gives you an opportunity to feel out how well your body adapts to it for the first phase. Then we recommend going to 4 days a week. So you go from Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You then go to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Whatever you do, you just have 1 day break. And then 2 days break. And again, feel it out, see how it goes. Then you move to 5 days a week. And then eventually, when you're conditioned enough, you can go to 6 days a week. Press to Handstand Masterclass is going to be either 1 or 2 days a week. That program is so brutal that I basically tell people to try 2 days a week. And if after the first week or two, they've just got constant DOMs, and when they go into their second workout, their hip flexors are just killing them, then they just reduce it back to 1 day a week.
So would that go on the straight arm strength
days?
Yeah,
straight arm strength days if you've got the UMS program, which would mean you would do it at the very start of your straight arm strength workout. And then if you have any energy left and any time left, you could do a modified straight arm strength Wednesday workout, basically reducing the volume, because it's brutal to press to handstand. But you still can do straight arm strength after it. But because it has a strength and a skill component to it, you need to do it at the start of your workout. You can't do it at the end. You'll just be too cooked. The Spine Mobility Masterclass is an everyday workout. It's really good to do at the start of your workout. It's good to do even in the morning and the evening and at the start of your workout if you want to dedicate the time to it. When you're starting out, I recommend anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes of spine mobility a day. It just depends on how much time you're willing to give it. But as you get better, you can reduce that down to 5 minutes a day. And currently, I will do, on a lazy day, I'll do maybe 1 to 2 minutes of spine mobility. And on a more high achieving day, I'll do 5 to 10 minutes of spine mobility a day. It's just so amazing and so good for you.
And so the reason why you do that 5 to 20 minutes when you're beginning it is just to learn the actual skill, right?
Movements,
yeah. One of those things when I've tried it, it's like you can't just rush through it. Like it doesn't work like that.
You've really got to think about it, and you've got to take the time to like really kind of articulate those movements.
Yeah.
But once you get better at it, you can achieve the same amount of reps in a quarter of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it, guys.
Cool.
Hope you got something out of that, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Health is about performance, not just body image.
You better be willing to accept what you're going to have to do to get there.
We'll start focusing on movement goals, strength goals, flexibility goals.
When you nail that skill, that's there forever.
The body image goal doesn't get you that
It's
far.
the consistency and frequency that's going to get you there. It's not the intensity.
There's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.